I am resident of Colorado for YouTube. Joel Staines, there's my buddy Patrick McCray, there's my buddy Alan Gallant. We're here to review Airplane. This movie is directed by Jim Abrams, David Zucker, Jerry Zucker, written by Jim Abrams, David Zucker, and Jerry Zucker. Based on Zero Hour by Arthur Haley and Hal Bartlett, John Champion, produced by John Davison, starring Robert Hayes and Julie Haggerty. Cinematographer is Joseph Barak. Music by Elmer Bernstein, distributed by Paramount Pictures. Release date June 27th, 1980, Toronto and Buffalo. What happened, Alan? July 2nd, 1980, world. It was released all over the world. Budget 3.5 million. I know, I saw that. I'm like, what the hell happened to Alan?
No, I just got knocked off somehow.
Box office, $171 million. This movie made a shitload of money, right?
Yes, it did. It was. I remember when it came out. I went to see it in the theater. It was immensely popular up in my neck of the woods.
Same in Louisville.
Yeah, as soon as the word got out, there were lines. I mean, and of course, our Cineplexes back then we only had like one triple Cineplex,
one print per theater.
Yeah,
and back then, even at this point, two of them were going to be Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
When did you first see this, Patrick?
I saw it summer of 1980. A friend of mine who always had sort of the inside scoop for a fourth grader, had seen it, and he was just enthralled. He said, "You got to go see it. This movie's made for you, especially Johnny."
Yeah.
And so, who was my spirit guide? And it was appropriate when the AIDS blanket came to Louisville. My mother got to read his Square, Stephen Sucker.
Oh, yeah.
Great. She had no idea, but she loved the character too, and she was pleased when I got to tell her. Anyway,
cool.
See, I saw it then, and I begged to see it again and again and again, week after week, and my parents wouldn't do it. But it didn't matter because it had burned itself into my mind, and I managed to see it in second run revival theaters every chance I got. And audiences, I mean, a year later, audiences in revival theaters were still howling.
Yes.
It was so funny. I mean,
Yeah.
When I taught cinema, I would tell them that I had a few experiences in my life where I entered the world I entered the theater coming from one world, movie theater, and I left into an entirely different world. You probably heard me say that about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Airplane was one of the other experiences where everything about our perception of humor, language, irony, completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alan, when did you see this? I'm sorry, you may have answered.
Summer of '80, no doubt.
Okay.
No doubt. It was I had heard about this kind of humor done in vaudevillian skits for 5 minutes, not for an hour and a half. And this is rapid fire comedy, just bang bang. Oh, there's an opportunity. Let's put one in there, and that's the whole movie. It's just like, and it makes no apologies for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reality. They made it into the reality. There's really no wink at the audience in this movie, except the whole movie is a wink.
Mm-hmm.
So there's.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It never breaks character.
Except the inflatable doll at the end. He sort of breaks. He doesn't really break character. He just winks at the audience.
Yeah.
It's just. But
you know what? It looked like Mr. Juggins.
Yes, he kind of did. He did.
It does.
Dear old Max Juggins.
Yes. Oh my God. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar breaks a little bit.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome. Intentional. So
yes, but he's actually just he's hiding out as a pilot.
Yes.
So he's still in that reality.
Well, did you see when they're pulling away? He's wearing the Lakers shorts. It's funny. It's
and
hilarious.
the knee pads and
the knee pads.
It's pretty bad. Knee pads back. I remember those days when they actually used to wear knee pads. Some players used to wear those. I don't think that's been 30 years since they've done that, but they used to, and they used to also wear sweatbands on their head.
Yeah.
Sure, I still do.
Yeah, but they don't do that in the pros anymore.
You know, to get highfalutin for a second, so much art that I encountered in the creation of it is very personally about saying no.
Mm-hmm.
It's about, no, let's cut this, cut that. It's reductionist. You know, every painting is every color that could imagine at every point until you eliminate all of them.
All the other ones. Yeah.
But in the right circumstances, it's almost morally imperative to say yes.
Well, even in the process of saying no, you have to say yes to things.
Sure.
Yeah.
And never
it's a conversation. It's a conversation.
Never has a piece of art that I've ever encountered just bathed in the glory of saying yes more than Airplane.
Yeah, it's true.
They were not going to shit on anybody's parade under any circumstances.
Mm.
Shouldn't Kareem have knee pads and, you know,
that's right.
Yes.
Sure, I'll bring some over from the locker room.
Yes, absolutely. No one was going to say, no, they won't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine saying that to Zucker and Abrams. No, they won't get it.
Yeah, no, this was not a movie where that was a problem. They probably froze out the producers after a certain point and said, yeah, you come see we'll show you the final cut. No more days.
I think it was one of those instances where there was a new regime.
Mm-hmm.
And it was part of that Frank Mancuso, the other guys, the Spielberg group, Bob Eisner and all those guys, Barry Dillon.
Amblin.
Yeah, the guys who went on to make Amblin and then that other company that we had for a while. It was there.
Yeah.
Katzenberg. Those guys apparently were pretty supportive of the film. They got it.
Yeah.
They were just the right age in between the anarchy of youth and the responsibility of being an adult.
Yeah, they would have been all in there, probably still all in their 30s.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. So Jerry Zucker, Jim Abrams, and David Zucker, collectively known as Zucker, Abrams, and Zucker, or Z-A-Z, wrote Airplane while they were performing with the Kentucky Fried Theater, a theater group they had founded in 1971 to obtain material for comedy routines. They routinely recorded late-night television and reviewed the tapes later, primarily to pull the commercials, a process Abrams compared to singing for fish. During one such taping process, they unintentionally recorded the 1957 film 0 Hour, and while scanning the commercials, found it to be perfectly classically structured film, according to Jerry Zucker. Abrams later described 0 Hour as a series version of Airplane. It was the first film script they wrote, completed around 1975, and was originally called The Late Show.
It was released as a Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah, the script originally stayed close to the dialogue and pilot of 0 Hour, as ZAZ thought they did not have a significant understanding of film at the time to structure a proper script. That's interesting.
So they used the structure of another film that they enjoyed and thought was great. Kentucky Fried Movie is one of the all-time great drive-in movies ever.
It's a tremendous film. I was telling Jewel about it earlier.
Mm-hmm. It is so fantastic. I saw it twice in a drive-in. It was a senior in high school. It was on the drive-in.
For a while, Universal had it on a double feature with Airplane. When they released Airplane, Kentucky Fried Movie would be with it.
Oh my gosh. So 0 Hour, that they believed they needed to negotiate the rights to create the remake of the film and ensure they remain within the allowance for parody within copyright law. They were able to obtain the rights from Warner Brothers and Paramount for about $2,500 at the time. The original script contained spoofs of television commercials, but people who portrayed it advised them to shorten the commercials, and they eventually removed them. When the script was finished, they were unable to sell it. So while failing to sell their script, the trio met director John Landis, who encouraged them to write a film based on the theater sketches. They managed to put the Kentucky Fried Movie into production in the late 1970s.
Basically, they spent like 50 cents and a couple of, a couple of certs or something. That was about all they spent on the movie.
It's got an all-star cast.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Leslie Nielsen. He's in it. There's a voice. It's got George Lazenby.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was a labor of love. Nobody took full salary for anything like it. They must have known the guys. Maybe they met them at a party. Who the hell knows? Or got hooked up through an agency. Something.
Natividad.
Kitten Natividad. That's right.
Oh.
One of the all-time great 1970s adult movie stars.
Guys, for those who have never seen Airplane, how important of a film is this to see for those who've never seen?
Absolutely imperative. It's required viewing for anybody that likes anything that has to do with comedy, timing, structure, any of that stuff.
If you have a sense of humor, it's absolutely vital.
Yes.
If you don't have a sense of humor,
it's vital.
Even more important.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. It's one of those films that it never stops being funny. It's never to the point of it's offensive to anybody, and it's like, who gives a shit if it is?
That differs from Gandhi.
Yeah, this film is offensive in the way that fart jokes are offensive, which is not at all.
Yeah.
It's not really offensive at all. It's R-rated for a reason, because there's some,
No, it wasn't. It was PG.
Was it PG?
Yeah, you bet.
Oh my God, I thought it was R. It makes fun of everything in equal portions. It's nothing is singled out. So it really is inoffensive that way.
I mean, you can talk about the AAVE moment in the movie, but the actors themselves wrote that dialogue. And Barbara Billingsley coming in and
doing the jive.
Yeah. They wrote that dialogue, and that I would say the incredible squareness of largely Protestant culture.
Mm-hmm.
Although Jewish culture can see, I need something light. How about this pamphlet, Famous Jewish Sports Legends?
Yeah,
is far more redolent in the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they did use as a template some of the airport stuff, and then just went right off into left field with it. The idea of having I think it was Airport 70. No, it was, Airport 75 that had the nun in it, and
they
all.
Wanted the same nun.
Mm-hmm.
They could get
that was
Helen Reddy.
Yeah, it was Helen Reddy. That's
and
right.
Universal would not budge.
Yeah. Too bad. But I mean, they did all right. They
got Linda Blair. Oh no, they got Jill Whelan.
Jill Whelan,
Captain's daughter from
Love Boat. Love Boat.
Yeah.
And also for the nun, they got what is it? Maureen? No, McGovern.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
So Paramount insisted the film be shot in color rather than black and white, as he wanted, and to be set aboard a jet airliner rather than a propeller plane to better identify with the modern filmgoers in exchange. Paramount, acquisitive to ZZ's desire to cast serious actors for the film rather than comedy performers. So during pre-production, Universal Pictures filed a complaint against Paramount, claiming that Airplane's parody of the airport film series and the similarity of their titles consulted plagiarism. After a review by the Motion Picture Association of America, arbitration board, Paramount agreed to retitle the film Flying High for its initial release. ZZ also agreed not to cast their first choice, Helen Reddy, as the Sinning Nun, which parodied a similar role in Airport 1975, as you mentioned.
Satire gets a pass. I'm sorry. Take it to
Yeah.
court.
Yeah, my God.
Now they desperately wanted for all their movies, starting with this, they wanted Charlton Heston,
Yeah.
and Heston just didn't get it. And what a
Yeah.
shame. Just didn't need to. There's a great story in making this movie.
Let me guess, Peter Graves' role?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, either that or maybe Robert Stack.
Yeah.
There's a great, or Lloyd Bridges, because they're the big three in the movie.
Yeah.
Mm.
Bridges. You can't replace Bridges. Oh my God.
Well, Stack got the joke.
Yeah.
And of course Peter Graves got the joke. Lloyd Bridges never did.
But he was funny as shit.
It's great. Oh, that's perfect. That's it. He can't get the joke. That's what makes it.
Right.
There's a great story Robert Stack tells about making the movie, and he said, one day Lloyd came up to me and said, Bob, I just don't get the joke. And he looked at me and he said, Lloyd, we're the joke.
Yeah.
And he said that with no umbrage.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful Zen response.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Our personality is the joke. The situation is the joke. Go ahead, just do what you're doing. And because he must have sensed the desperation in the character and the escalation of the character.
I think eventually,
because he kept
that
doing that was hilarious. That's been a bad week. Blah blah.
It's sniffing glue. Yeah, yeah. I suspect that afternoon.
Yeah.
He sat down and went, "Oh, yeah, I get it."
Mm. So David Zucker explained that the trick was to cast actors like Robert Stack, Leslie Nielsen, Peter Graves, and Lloyd Bridges. These were people who, up to that time, had never done comedy. We thought they were much funnier than the comedians of that time. David Zucker felt Stack was the most important actor to be cast since he was the linchpin of the film's plot. Stack initially played his role in a way that was different from the directors had in mind. They showed him a tape of impressionist John Byner impersonating Robert Stack. According to the producer, Stack was doing an impression of John Byner, doing an impression of Stack. Stack was not initially
was taking himself so seriously that it was not bouncing off of the camera with masculinity.
Oh my God, that's
funny. When he takes the glasses off, he's got the other pair underneath.
He wasn't initially interested in part, but ZZ persuaded him. British children advised him to take the part. Graves rejected the script at first, considering it tasteless. During filming, ZZ had explained to Graves that his lines spoken to a young boy, such as "Have you seen grown men naked?" would be explained later in a part that you aren't in. On the DVD commentary, Abrams said, "I don't understand. What did he think was tasteless about pedophilia?"
Pedophilia.
Yeah, the line that they shot that they didn't use was, "Tell me, Billy, have you ever sucked a grown man's cock?"
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and they said that was too much even for them.
Yeah. I think ending it with Turkish prison was just fine.
Yes. For the role of Dr. Remick, ZZ initially suggested Dom DeLuise or Christopher Lee, who had appeared in Airport 77.
Christopher Lee would have been all right. Dom DeLuise would have mugged it.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't have been with the rest of it, unfortunately. He's great. He was great mugger, but not in this film.
So Vincent Price and Jack Webb, all whom turned it down before they considered Nielsen. who was just a fish in water in his role, according to Jerry Zucker. Nielsen's career to this point had consisted mostly of serious leading roles, as we all know.
I
But he
think
had,
Nielsen personally though was like a practical joker and so on.
Oh,
yeah,
before this, yeah, he was
Yeah.
well.
yeah. Well,
How?
here's the thing: like, you ever watch his behind the scenes? Sorry if I cut you. If you ever watch his behind the scenes stuff, like, he's always cracking up.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely had the sense of humor and to play it straight and still get all of the laughs out of it, which he ended up having a brilliant second career doing for the next, 10 or 12 years after
Oh
this.
my God! I mean, nearly 30. I mean,
Yeah,
really, he was there for a long time.
it was. Dead and Loving It was really good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So the role of Ted Shark was initially written for David Letterman, who had auditioned for a news anchorman role in Kentucky Fried Movie. Letterman did a screen test in 1979 that ZZ liked, and they wanted him to do a second edition, but Letterman did not want to pursue the role and was not selected. Chevy Chase, Barry Manilow, Bill Murray, and Fred Willard were also considered for the role. Kathleen Jenner also read for the part. Instead, ZZ opted for Robert Hayes, co-star of ABC's situation comedy Angie.
That's right. I forgot about that, Angie.
Pascal, her finest hour.
That's right.
Elaine's part was auditioned by Sigourney Weaver and Shelley Long, but eventually went to Julie Haggerty, thank God. Haggerty's also in What About Bob, which is really.
Yes, and she made really good money playing all American girl characters for a little while. She was I mean, she's really good at it. I mean, she just presents.
She plays Alexandra Moltke in Reversal of Fortune.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
right.
Great job too, that she does. So, guys, there's so many scenes in this movie. What are some of your favorites?
And Ethel Merman, the egg is
Yes.
coming out of the mouth. We're flying on instruments up here. It goes on.
The description of the virus as it's having its effect on the pilots is
Otto, involving Otto.
the jive talk scene.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And seeing Jonathan Banks with hair, that freaked me out.
Yeah.
Who went on to be in Wise Guy, and then of course later Better Call Saul and all of that stuff. Who is probably more famous now than he ever was before.
Yeah.
As a man in his 70s.
Here's a good semi-obscure LA actor who I love, Frank Ashmore, who plays the navigator. And Frank Ashmore played Martin, the good guy on V.
Oh.
I saw play Johnny Iceland in John Lahr's stage adaptation of The Manchurian Candidate against Pete Snodgrass, and he was magnificent.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool.
Well, you do know Jonathan Banks voiced Commissioner Gordon all three Arkham games, the Batman games.
Mm.
Really good.
Got a great voice.
Yes, he does. Very, very good. I love Robert Stack driving the car and the kids sitting there. Him going
really
through
in the background, the obviously filmed background. That's pretty.
Robert Stack beating up people at the airport. The opening of the Jaws theme, the plane in the clouds, is hilarious. The Kareem Abdul-Jabbar line, them everybody getting sick, you guys mentioned.
Yeah.
But Leslie Nielsen's introduction and him being so serious, it's funny. It's like you just want to cry. It's like, oh my God, it's so good.
I'd forgotten about Jimmy Walker being the window washer.
Sure.
Yeah. And also David Leisure playing one of the Hare Krishnas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the girl running through the runway, knocking over the metal beams.
Oh yeah. You see this tacky little fat, like this giant electrical thing, whatever it's supposed to be.
Your watch. Don't worry, it didn't work.
I mean, they left no joke undone. It's just, I mean, so 10-second break. Nope. There's another one.
The woman hearing the backstory for the love angle and her hanging herself.
Yes. Yes. Well, that whole thing is just like,
Oh my God.
and then the
Crash,
guy,
crash positions
Yes.
and everybody goes,
just doesn't stop.
no,
No, it
not
just
stop.
doesn't. Oh my
Not at
God.
all.
So good.
It really is one of the most perfect pieces of art I think I've ever encountered. It really is. Everything works. Everything lands. It's just sublime. And I saw it. God, I saw it. I was getting out of the third grade. I'm sure it was responsible for me flunking the sixth grade. And God bless it. Somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
And I owe this movie. I probably owe this movie as much, if not more, than any other artistic experience I've ever had in my life. I really
Yeah.
You got it. You got it in the formative time.
And it is the absolute definition of what every good parody has to do, which is it has to be an operational example of what it's satirizing. So,
Right.
with this, I care about Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I care about whether or not he's going to be able to overcome his problems and land the plane.
Right.
I care about these people.
Yeah.
That's what matters. And the other, it also helps define parody in this sense. You should be able to write a synopsis of it completely straight and have it be completely accurate. And on this, when food poisoning strikes down the crew of an ill-fated 747, can one passenger overcome his demons of the past,
To
land the
fly
plane
this
safely,
plane. Yeah.
and win the woman he loves?
Yeah.
And that's Airplane.
Mhm.
That's
It
the
is.
plot of Airplane.
And the interesting thing is they decided to go with a modern airliner and also do it in color, but you still get the sense that he was, he was flying in World War II. Except they changed the names to these bizarre names like Daiquiri Hill and all this.
Yeah, Rambouillet.
Yeah.
And then they included the disco stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
which is marvelous. The dance.
Yes, it is.
And Robert Hayes
Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah.
Although I think Letterman would have been great in the film. I think his sense of surreal detachment.
Probably. Yeah. Probably would have been actually. Probably would have been.
Letterman would have been very good.
I do think Hayes and Haggerty make such a great on-screen couple. You root for them this whole movie.
Yeah,
Like as funny as they are.
The last name's both begin with H.
Yeah. So guys, for comedies, where do you put this? Where do you put Airplane?
This is at the top of its comedy genre, which is the satire genre, but it also fuses with vaudevillian humor, burlesque. It's got a lot of stuff in it that it honors those traditions as well as just being overall a brilliant satire.
Jewel and I were talking about this in the cab ride over to the studio, where I contend, and he didn't fight me on it, that this may very well have eclipsed Something Like It Hot as the greatest comedy ever made.
Yeah.
Because it's so pure. It has only one job, and that's comedy. It would have been interesting, especially with his sensitivity to language, to see what Billy Wilder would have done with this film.
Yeah.
I think he would have had a hell of a good time.
Probably.
I will give you a revised list. I will still put this at number one, but I'll put Some Like It Hot number two, but instead of putting Naked Gun number three, I'm gonna put Dr. Strangelove.
Great choice.
Because I love Naked Gun, but to me, Dr. Strangelove is sort of like Airplane before Airplane. It's wall-to-wall comedy in a sense.
It is, but it's a different kind of satire, and it's icy.
Yes,
in a lot of ways, it's brilliant that way.
Yeah.
For me, as number three, I still put Shoah. It just narrows it. You get sorrow on the pity, but it's very close.
Oh my god. We definitely got it. I got to definitely check out Kentucky Fried maybe.
Yeah. Oh, and tell us when you do.
Yes.
Yeah. So tomorrow we're going to do Dark Shadows, 1841 Parallel Time.
PT.
Patrick, it is your turn to pick for Sunday's movie.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Ghost World.
Okay, Ghost World it is.
Ghost World. Okay.
Yeah. So, is there anything you guys want to add about Airplane before we get on out of here?
It is evergreen.
Yes.
It has worked with every audience, no matter how jaded they are, no matter how teenagery they are. They love Airplane.
They'll pull you in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the fact that the Jaws opening theme plays too, and when you're going through that.
Oh yeah, and the plane, the
Zorzak.
Yeah.
Would you like to smoking or non-smoking? Smoking, the ticket smoking.
It's just one thing after another. They just
they're so honest.
They do not drop an opportunity at all. And you'd think at some point, oh, well, why didn't they do that? No, they did it.
I mean, ham on white, hold the nail.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Oh my god. So link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows book and it's going to be in the description box. Link to Gallant's YouTube channel. Collins Sport After Dark is going to be in the description box. Guys, I will see you guys tomorrow night for 1841 Parallel Time. Take care. God bless.
Wisely.
Yep.
Bye.
Have a good one.